Thank you, peers. Please be seated. The Principal Secretary, the State Department for Basic Education, Ministry of Education, Ambassador Professor Julius Bitok, our area MP, Professor Phyllis Bartow, the Chairperson of the Kenya National Examinations Council, Professor Julius Nyabundi, the Chief Executive of the Kenya National Examination Council, Dr. David Njengere, the Acting Chief Executive Officer of the Teachers Service Commission, Dr. Evelyn Mitei, the CEO of KUPS, Dr. Mercy Wahome, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning again. Ladies and gentlemen, examination and assessments have always stood at the heart of education. They serve not merely as a measure of learning, but as a compass that guides the nation's future. As the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education, Kcse examination draws to a close with the phasing out of the 844 system, we recognize its historic role in shaping generations of learners. Yet, education must always evolve to meet the demands of a dynamic world. The transition to competency-based assessment marks a decisive step forward, one that shifts our focus from rote memorization to the demonstration of skills, values, and knowledge that empower learners to thrive in the 21st century. It is in this spirit of transition that we gather today to mark the release of the results of the third to last cohort to undertake the Kcse examination, even as we celebrate the progression of the very first cohort under the competency-based education into senior school this coming Monday. This moment stands as both a culmination of a long-standing tradition and the dawn of a new era, affirming our collective commitment to assessments that not only measure achievement, but also nurture the competencies required for the future. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to extend my profound gratitude to all sector stakeholders who year after year have demonstrated unwavering dedication in preparing our Kcse candidates and ensuring the successful and seamless administration of the national examinations. Their commitment has safeguarded the credibility of our examination system and upheld the high standards that define our education system. Let me take this opportunity to acknowledge the concerted efforts of colleagues across the Ministries of Education, the Ministry of Interior and National Administration, and Information, Communication and the Digital Economy, as well as the Teacher Service Commission during the administration of the 2025 Kcse examination series. In the same vein, may I commend all the center managers, supervisors, and invigilators for their integrity and diligence that have made this examination cycle a success. Today, as we release results for 993,226 candidates, I wish to register my sincere appreciation to His Excellency the President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, for his trust and steadfast support in enabling our team to implement critical reforms in the education sector. These reforms are geared towards transforming the delivery of learning and teaching in order to nurture and build every learner's potential and to equip them with the skills and competencies necessary for life in the 21st century. Ladies and gentlemen, as we gather here today, the government has employed a record 100,000 teachers since 2023, with 24,000 of these teachers recruited this year. A record total of over 25,000 teachers have also been promoted. To better prepare our teachers for the rollout of the competency-based education, our teachers have been retooled and reoriented to the new system. The primary objective is to strengthen teaching and learning in our schools and consequently to improve our education outcomes. In order to enhance access, we are expanding infrastructure across our basic education institutions. In the financial year 2024-2025, we built a record 23,000 classrooms across the country to support the transition of the first grade 9 cohort. This year, we will construct a total of 1,600 laboratories in various senior schools in order to support practical learning. To anchor these reforms on a solid legal and policy foundation, we will soon be presenting a sessional paper and 11 bills to Parliament for consideration and enactment. Once passed, this will help entrench efficiency and effectiveness in our education system and affirm its competitiveness globally. We also continue to support our learners with capitation in fulfillment of the government's obligation to provide free and compulsory basic education. For this school year, for instance, we released the sum of 44.2 billion shillings as capitation for learners in all public basic education institutions ahead of school opening. This is the first time that capitation has been disbursed before schools open. Heads of institutions are expected to ensure prudent use of these public resources for the benefit of learners and to desist from imposing any extra levies or fees upon parents. The candidates whose results we released today are now expected to transit to tertiary institutions, either in universities or TVET institutions. At the tertiary level, we are implementing the student-centered funding model by which the government supports students and trainees by way of scholarships and loans depending on the level of need of each learner. To enhance access and affordability, fees for academic programs in our public universities have also been rationalized by between 15% and 40%, so that the fees for university education programs range from 5,800 to 75,000 per semester, depending on the program of study. I call upon all eligible candidates, therefore, to apply for placement to programs of their choice once the process starts. I now wish to provide an overview of the performance of the 2025 Kcse examinations cohort. Ladies and gentlemen, during the 2025 Kcse examinations, 993,226 candidates sat the examination compared to 962,512 candidates in the year 2024. This represents an increase by 30,714 candidates, which is an increase of 3.19%. Of the 993,226 candidates who sat the 2025 Kcse examinations, 492,012 were male, while 501,214 were female, representing 49.54% and 50.46% of the total candidature, respectively. This is the second year in a row since inception of the Kcse examinations that female candidates are more than male candidates. However, 10 counties had a significant entry of more male than female candidates. These were Garissa, which had 66.24% to 33.76%. Mandera had 65.09% to 34.91%. Wajir had 60.10% to 39.90%. Turkana had 57.67% to 42.33%. Narok had 53.10% to 46.90%. Samburu had 52.43% to 47.57%. Mombasa had 52.08% to 47.92%. Homa Bay had 52% to 48%. Nyamira had 51.9% to 48.03%, and West Pokot had 51% to 48.16%. 14 counties had a significant entry of more female than male candidates. These were Vihiga, which had 55.905% to 44.10%. Elgeyo Marakwet had 55.06% to 44.94%. Kisumu had 53.87% to 46.15%. Kiambu had 53.23% to 46.77%. Kwale had 53.19% to 46.81%. Nairobi had 52.90% to 47.10%. Kakamega had 52.47% to 47.53%. Meru had 52.22% to 47.78%. Isiolo had 52.21% to 47.79%. Uasin Gishu had 52.14% to 48.26%. Busia had 51.72% to 48.28%, and Tharaka Nithi had 51.57% to 48.43%. 23 counties, however, recorded near perfect gender parity, which counties were Lamu, Marsabit, Embu, Tana River, Laikipia, Kcse, Baringo, Migori, Trans Nzoia, Nandi, Kajiado, Taita Taveta, Kericho, Siaya, Kilifi, Bomet, Nyeri, Nyandarua, Murang'a, Nakuru, Kirinyaga, Bungoma, and Makueni. The number of candidates aged 16 years and below increased from 20,546, which was 2.13% in the year 2024, to 26.391 or 26,391, which is 2.65% in the year 2025. The highest percentage of candidates registered for 2025 Kcse examinations were within the appropriate age bracket of between 17 and 19 years, constituting 716,048, which is 72.02% of the total candidature. In the year 2025 Kcse examinations, 17 subjects recorded a significant improvement in performance, similar to the number of subjects that recorded significant improvement in 2024. 11 subjects recorded a significant decline in performance in the year 2025 compared to 10 in 2024. Female candidates recorded better mean score performance than male candidates in the following 6 subjects. That is English, Kiswahili, Kenya Sign Language, Home Science, CRE, and Arts and Design. Male candidates recorded better mean score performance than female candidates in 11 subjects, namely mathematics, alternatives A and B, biology, and biology for the blind, chemistry, general science, history and government, geography, IRE, building and construction, and business studies. The performance of male candidates was comparable to their female counterparts in the following 7 subjects: physics, agriculture, computer studies, French, German, Arabic, and music. The number of female candidates registered in the following 5 subjects was too small to allow for a meaningful comparison of performance with their male counterparts. That is metalwork, power mechanics, electricity, drawing and design, and aviation technology. As has been the case since 2023, Kcse examination, the 2025 Kcse examination results have been graded using the reviewed grading system in which the overall grade at Kcse examination considers mathematics the best performing language among English, Swahili, and Kenyan Sign Language, and the best performed 5 subjects. There were 1,932, which is 0.19% candidates who obtained an overall mean grade A plain in the year 2025 Kcse examination. This is an improvement as compared to 1,693, which is 0.18% candidates who scored plain A in 2024. The number of candidates with direct university entry qualifications of mean grade C+ and above was 270,715, which is 27.18% in the year 2025 Kcse examination. This is an improvement compared to 246,391, which was 25.53% in the year 2024. The number of candidates with grade C- and above was 507,131, which is 50.92% in the year 2025 Kcse examination, compared to 476,889, which was 49.41% in the year 2024. The number of candidates attaining a pass grade, which is grade D+ and above, was 634,082, which is 63.67% in the year 2025, compared to 605,774, which is 62.76% in the year 2024. National schools produced the highest number of candidates with an overall mean grade of A, which was 1,526, followed by extra county schools, which had 197, and private schools, which had 185. Sub-county schools, however, produced more candidates in the category of C+ and above compared to county schools, accounting for 72,699 and 36,600 respectively. I wish to reiterate that our stand on the integrity of examinations. In November last year, we indicated that there were reported cases under investigation and that action would be taken upon conclusion of the investigations. At the conclusion of the Kcse examination, 1,180 candidates were found to have been involved in examination irregularities. Consequently, and in line with the applicable law and regulations, their examination results have been cancelled. Individual candidates' examination results will be accessed online through a link on the NEC website or directly through the following link: results.nec.ac.ke, and candidates will be required to enter their index number and one of their names as per the registration data for the 2025 Kcse examination. The results will be live and accessible immediately after the end of this function. It is now my humble duty and privilege to declare the 2025 Kcse examination results officially released. I wish all the candidates success in their future endeavors, and to all of you, Happy New Year. Thank you, and God bless you.